And that is where we left off on that realization that one body had been used to construct 3 animated scarecrows.
So if 3 scarecrows came from like one person's ghost, does that mean that they're kind of like Horcruxes? A little bit.
No, it means that J.R. Rowling stole the idea of phylacteries from D&D liches
Oh, okay.
for her villain.
Again.
So they're like phylacteries.
Oh, okay.
Darn you, JK.
Well, phylacteries were like a thing before D&D.
I mean, I say stole the idea, but like let's be honest. What's his face? He who shall not be named, or whatever. He's basically a lich.
Well,
In fact,
hey,
he
they
is
did
a lich.
19-bit vampires.
Oh, he is.
He's a classic D&D lich.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, now that you mention it.
I don't actually know anything about liches.
Wow, so...
I just remember the phylactery from Anastasia.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only point of reference I have.
Yeah.
So Denny brought up an interesting point. So the oldest family that lives here is called Undercliff, right?
Yeah, that's the family that's been in the area the longest.
Well,
It's a fairly common name because the area is called Undercliff.
do you think it was named after them, or they... Well, anyway.
They're in
No,
charge of Undermountain.
It's literally under a cliff.
I solved the
Like
conspiracy.
the road is called Undercliff Road, and the area is called Under. Like, let me put you guys on the map.
The lighting is so different between
I know, it's so weird.
I'm gonna get water and more lasagna.
Okay.
I know.
So you see like Undercliff Way through here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So Waterdeep is built around a mountain.
So
I wish this had topo.
And there's a series of cliffs. So Mount Waterdeep is like off that way somewhere. And there's like a cliff's edge just off the map. And this whole area right here is called Undercliff because it's under a cliff.
How original.
Well, it seems like everything that's under something has something bad connected to it. Like
Hang on. In fact, is this
Undercliff, the underground,
under mountain, under deep, under dark,
under deep.
under pants.
Oh.
Underpants. Captain
View of the
Underwear.
whole world.
Hey. The things
Yeah.
for underpants are awesome.
So if you go down south, in fact, it's labeled. It says right there, Undercliff.
So I don't know if something smells about this Undercliff person, and I don't know if it's just me being prejudiced against under things.
She's a hag.
Uh-oh. The hags. They're back.
She had kids.
Who knows? She could have stole them. Impersonated the mother. We don't know.
No, she is the kid. She's actually everyone in that household. That's why you never see them together.
And there's
Ah, like Batman.
and there's this big long cliff here along Waterdeep, and this area is under it. So it's called Undercliff.
Yeah, sure, that's why it's called that. I'm still sticking to my theory that this person is evil.
I totally believe the DM. Wink.
Wink, wink. Right? We need that conspiracy board again.
Yeah.
It's like,
The return to the conspiracy.
see all of this.
Can't
Pepe
fool me.
Sylvia.
That's the best thing ever.
Man. Oh, I'm missing that. I mean...
that was kind of like a lich. Give her take a letter.
She's
Lich.
cloned by a lich. Ish.
An ish lich.
Ish lich. Lish, ishness. Yeah.
I mean, who knows if you guys got Oliver?
An
It's a mystery.
assuming sparm or a skull.
Maybe she's part phylactery.
Oh god. What if she is? What if she's the one that was actually controlling ass crack?
Whoa! My mind is blown.
Well, hey, you know what? On the upside, she doesn't have anything to do with the majority of these characters other than the relationship between the characters and the other characters. Although, I do admit, I would kind of like to see Annette go, is everyone in this family going to
That would be
Or
hilarious.
Filbert.
What little do you know that Layla is like Cassie's cousin?
Oh,
Aw.
I could see it.
It's all connected.
Kelrick and Brute met once.
I love intergenerational
And
shit.
and Cass
He's afraid of humans.
and Cassie is actually old Greg's daughter from a previous marriage that he forgot about. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about these scarecrows?
Oh yeah. So who is
Why
this?
you guys are why are you writing
Family
fanfics?
trio, like-
My God.
We're making your plot for you.
Yeah, we're doing all the work, okay?
So who would hate somebody so much that they would rip him up and put him in all their scarecrows?
A hag would.
A men's farm.
I don't think that they
Here.
hated the person they turned into scarecrows. I think that that was more of a means to an end kind of thing.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like
Can we do?
angry souls that are willing to come back to hurt people are in all order.
Do we have to do D&D forensics to see who these bones belong to?
Well, what I'm thinking, I guess I have a question. Were the scarecrows all attacking like one family farm, or is this several?
Several. They were spread across.
Okay.
Oh. So it
So
was somebody who didn't like any of these farmers.
Shouldn't we be trying to find the one family that got pushed out of the farm?
Yeah.
That seems like a good grudge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I just got here, but I heard there were scary bones.
My friend! Welcome! There are many bones to be had, but they seem to be from one thing.
What?
We're trying to find out.
It makes it even better that your little
What's up,
icons
Kurt?
at the bottom of my screen are actually like on the right side of you guys, so you guys look over the other people at each other.
We're facing each other.
Oh my
good.
God, that's adorable. Yeah, you guys are like right next. Aww. Hmm.
I gotta make some icons that are like talking to each other.
That'd be cute. Love it. All right, so
bones. There were teeth in this one, and a jawbone, and a femur in this one.
Does anyone know anything about reading bones?
do I? I don't
Does
know.
that fall under Arcana or
Medically or magically? Like
both? Either.
Either or.
Either.
medically, like, if you wanted to find out, look at this cool ass token.
Ooh.
Oh, let me see.
Look at that guy.
Is that a Triton?
He's on the it's a Triton. He's on the map.
Oh.
I don't know shit about these
Where?
bones.
Oh.
They're bony.
Oh, I like that.
So to see like to try to suss out what you could do medically with them, that would be a medicine check. To
I
find
was
out.
checking like magically, but
I can do a medicine check.
I-
think.
I also did a medicine check just in case.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. So for the medicine check, Layla, examining the bones, you can find the dungeon master had to burp. He's drinking carbonated water. You could find little nick marks here and there. They're very, very thin, and very like it's where the bones were like separated from the joints and things like that. It had to have been done with a very fine and thin blade, something very sharp. Um, Warlocky Arcana check. What about the magic that is woven into these? It's not.
what do
It
your
was definitely done
warlock
by a
eyes
skilled
see,
hand.
Buster?
So
What do
without
your
casting
special eyes see?
detect magic on them, there's no arcane symbols or like ritual. There's no arcane symbols on the bones, but they all have been. They're all slightly stained and off color. There's been something applied to them is some sort of okay, yeah. There's something that's been applied to them with as some sort of like sealing agent or part of the enchantment. Let me see
Okay.
here.
And
The
I can't
magic,
tell.
the magical aura that you detect on them is transmutation magic, so it's not necromantic.
It's bones.
So they weren't reanimated like you would reanimate an undead creature. They were given like some semblance of life, some binding. They would have like it's more similar to a construct, yeah. So it would have like a specific purpose, and it would just perform that task. It wouldn't be like a zombie minion or something that you could have follow you around. It's like an automaton kind of like you set it up
So
and it just does
So
this thing.
its performance
Was
is to murder
her
people.
medicine check high enough
did it kill a person?
to be able to tell the age and or gender of these bones?
They were male, probably in their late 20s. You can tell that by the jaw structure and the bit of pelvis you have. The teeth are worn down and what's the word I'm looking for here? Shitty, like not well cared for. They're stained and worn out. So whoever
Maybe
it
a
was,
commoner.
you can see where a fracture was in the jaw where it's rehealed. So it's yeah.
So what I'm thinking, guys, is maybe they made these constructs to protect the farm against threats, and then it went haywire. You think? Maybe that might be a thing. I don't know.
It sounds like they just wanted to clear the land for some reason, for their nefarious deeds.
Maybe they just didn't want the cows in the corn, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they
This is gays only farmland.
cows in corn by murdering their livestock, making it harder to function.
To farm. I don't know. I thought maybe that it was like protect the farm against threats, and then, well, the threats ended up being everything.
Hmm.
Oh.
I mean,
I think that's probably a bit.
there is a long-term solution to be able to figure this out, and that's just wait and see if they pop up again.
Yeah.
If they were doing it against threats, then they probably wouldn't make them again because they would worry about them having the same problem. But if it's somebody doing vengeance and
Then they'll be back.
Whatever, then they'll be back.
Okay. Okay.
Also, these scarecrows look just like all the other scarecrows, right? Like they blend
Yeah.
in.
They smell
Mhm.
different.
They do.
Yeah,
They have
they
that
look
Do you want all the
that
sausage?
scent, but
no
they
one's going around smelling scarecrows except
they
for
are
you.
the
So,
they are the same. Like I mean, none of the scarecrows are identical. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
they don't stand out as having been built by more skilled or less skilled hands. It's old clothes that farmers had laying around, stuffed with straw, hung up on a post.
Hmm.
You know, some of them have hats, some of them don't.
They seem
There
like
was one with a knight's helmet on that you guys checked out, but that one was just a scarecrow.
Hmm. I wonder, do those look older than other ones, or like they've been fussed with?
Make an investigation check
Okay.
as you go around and poke at the other scarecrows in the night.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see at this point you guys have raised enough of a ruckus that you can see some lights coming on in a few of the houses and like shutters opening. People are curious and watching, but they don't come outside. Um, so the scarecrows, I mean, what's left of the ones you guys have killed? There's, I mean, because you fought them, burned them, and tore apart, shot arrows into them. They have been disturbed recently. The others are moldy and old and sort of just hanging there. Um, but because of the condition the scarecrows that came alive are in, it's hard to make a comparison because they've been torn to shreds, basically.
For the ritual that would be necessary to make these scarecrows animate, would you need a long, extended amount of time with the scarecrow before you put it up, or is it something you could just throw the bones of the scarecrow
Yeah,
and call
just
it good?
sticks and
You
bones
can
in.
make an Arcana check.
Can I start trying to craft together new scarecrows out of like the pieces? You know, keep getting not putting the bones back in, but like putting.
Average knowledge.
You don't want to
Okay,
make
you're not sure, Calric. there's not enough left of them to build a scarecrow out of. Like
Okay.
they've been burned and ripped and shredded.
Two destroyed.
Yeah. You're not sure, Kelric. You're not familiar enough with this type of magic, and whoever would have done this would have to be very familiar with this type of magic. I can give you that. They would have to. It would have to
Can I
be
pose the
somebody who's like
question
an
to the group?
expert in the field. Yeah.
Wow.
Because somebody might have better arcana than me.
What are we checking?
I can try.
How long it would take to make one of these
Oh,
scarecrows,
mine's
and
not.
if you have to be like with the scarecrow.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Yay!
Nice.
Okay. I mean, Layla, your knowledge of this sort of thing is more based on undead and how you can construct undead. You're not familiar or trained in the processes of
Arcana.
creating constructs.
Okay.
But if you were trying to animate like a body,
Mhm.
yeah, you could pre-enchant some sort of item and put it inside of the body and have that bring it to life. It's a more drawn out process than it is just creating an undead creature with the spell like Great Undead, but the actual delivery is quicker.
Hmm.
Well, I ain't a real doctor, but this
So
guy is.
you would take longer. You'd have to spend more time with the item that you're using to create the undead. But then once the actual creation was to take place, you could basically just like shove something in its mouth and be gone.
They're
So
dead.
as one scarecrow is destroyed, does that mean you could just take the bone and plop it somewhere else?
Not if we take the bones, which, let's be real, someone was gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
Probably.
Could.
Looking at you, Buster.
I'm licking the bone.
You're already
It's
eating it.
it's acrid, like it tastes terrible. It's like
Is it like licking glue or something?
yeah, it has that like strong chemical flavor to it.
Oh.
Want to try it?
No.
Wait, like it's been in the ground a
I'll
while?
take a taste.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like licking bleach. Like, it's not good.
Do Dragonborn just like licking things?
I suppose. I haven't been around them very much lately. Or they just shove me away.
Oh.
Lick.
Oh, it's like the worst lollipop in existence.
It's like you're a geologist, but
Except you keep licking it once you realize it's bone.
yeah. Geologists love to lick things.
Well, bones stick to the tongue, you know.
They probably do.
It's their ferocity.
It's a scarecrow
You're right.
battery.
Oh my god.
This
That's
was young man and his own stink.
That narrows down our options.
do we know how long he's been dead for? Were we able to tell that at all?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean the bones have been like preserved, so it's difficult to tell.
So it's no way. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Preserve bones.
Nerds.
Yeah, probably.
Do we know anyone in town that would?
Alright, that's it. We're going
We're
back to
friends
Waterdeep.
with us.
Nerds, yes.
Yes. We
Book
must
friend.
Well, I wonder, because we killed all the scarecrows, right? I wonder if we could take these bones back to people who do the job and ask them if they know.
I'm curious to see if we stick it in something else, will that animate?
I mean, you can do that if you want. Do you really want to? I have half of a wooden puppet right here.
Ooh! Ooh!
I don't really think we should jump in and do it again immediately after the last one because spell slots.
Yeah. I mean, if we leave the bones here, the scarecrow are just gonna keep.
No,
coming
yeah, we
back.
should definitely keep them. Let's keep these bones.
Okay.
I'll make some soup.
No.
I don't think they'd make very good soup.
Acid soup.
Can I write like a letter and attach it to the post where the scarecrow was?
I mean,
We
if
can
you
use
have
some
writing
of the
supplies
Ouija
on
board.
you.
I think I do.
No, you can't. That's not. They don't exist.
Let me see. I have a priest's pack. What's in a priest pack?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look
You
it up.
have like parchment and some candles or something.
I think
Or you
so.
have stuff in there, and then like a cloud.
Oh, that's a monster. Here we go. It is backpack blanket, incense, tinderbox, and alms box. Oh no, I don't think so. Too bad. All right, whatever.
What are we looking for? What do you want?
Oh, I was just gonna tell them that I was gonna replace their scarecrows.
Yeah, Layla's just digging through her bag right now.
Just like write it in
Sitting on the
dirt.
ground.
I'm just gonna like shuffle around in the dirt and write out. It's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna write out like, sorry, that's your scarecrows. Signed, Chris.
I mean, everyone in the village is watching us, so I might as well just kind of yell at them.
Oh no, I don't.
I guess you can do that.
What time?
Hey, got bones in here!
We're taking these.
What kind of time of night is it? Early?
10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I think.
Getting close to midnight.
I think I'd probably just like. Didn't we run into someone's house and then he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
All right, can we go knock on that guy's door?
Yeah.
You gotta show them what we found.
Yeah.
Knock on the door cracks open. You can see the like sandy blonde haired, like tan farmer dude.
Hi. So you had some crazy skeletons that came to life and we killed them.
Scarecrows, not skeletons.
Scarecrows. Scarecrows that had
skeleton and a
skeletons in
scarecrow.
them, which is very bizarre.
Okay.
If you don't mind in the morning, can you pass word around that we are looking for more of these bony scarecrows? And if they see any, to remove the. Well, actually, don't touch them, but just like tell
I
us.
don't think they're gonna be able to see the bones and the
We're like
stuff.
tag them or something.
Just let us know if your scarecrow problem comes back.
Yeah.
Your scarecrows are
Or
acting a little
or if you
Okay,
see anybody suspicious.
And he goes, okay, but who are you? How am I supposed to let you know these
We're
things?
with the Emerald
We're the
Enclave.
ghost bus.
Who sent us on this quest?
Emerald Enclave.
The Emerald
Yeah.
Enclave.
The Emerald Enclave.
Remembered.
Nice. Yeah, so we.
Do we not have a name for our group yet?
Nope.
No.
We gotta come up with one.
Bone daddies.
Bone daddies.
Nut busters, wait.
Nutbuster. No. I like that name.
Of course.
Wait, would that make us like a bad band, like Buster and the Nut?
Oh
Aw.
God.
We're the bandwagons.
Yeah, he's still standing there at the
God.
door, and he's like,
Wait.
so contact the Emerald Enclave again if any more scarecrows come to life.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if,
And then he starts to shut the door,
okay.
like slowly. Like he's doing that thing where he's like, are they gonna say anything else? No? Okay, and then he just shuts the door.
Okay. I think that's
Sleep
good enough.
tight.
Do we want to like set up camp on the road to see if we can see anybody suspicious coming through, or?
I say we just sleep out in the field and see what happens.
Okay. Stealth camp?
Stealth camp.
Okay. Let's find a good spot, like, away from the buildings so that people aren't staring at us. And we'll stealth camp.
We do have to report for the trash and
Yeah. And we have to report which area, how far away? The dock ward? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, you're supposed to report at the dock ward at 6 bell, which is like 6 a.m.
Ooh, that's a long time. Maybe we better go back to the house tonight, and we'll camp out tomorrow night.
I think. Let me check. What time is it supposed to be at? 6 bells. Yep, 6 a.m.
Yeah, I think we probably have made enough noise that whoever made the scarecrows is not going to come back tonight.
Probably.
I think.
I back and before before we have to come back here because I think they run pretty late. So I can just split off and see if I smell anything new
Oh,
in the area.
okay.
And if I smell any changes, then I can come back and get people.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So I guess we'll head back to the house.
Because I have their scent now.
Nice.
So Kelrick is gonna stay in the fields tonight.
No, he's gonna come back like before dusk the next day and see if he.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, cool.
Okay, back home. I'm tired.
Because if they come back and refurbish it, they'll leave a fresh trail and not one that's a couple of days old.
Mhm.
Where are all my token ships?
Yeah.
Oh, ships.
I'm so disappointed by that.
Alright. Okay, yeah, you guys return back. You get. I'll say you get. So you only have 6 hours of rest, right? Basically, like by the time you get back to Charles Sky, before you're only gonna be able to sleep like 5 hours. So you're not gonna get a full long rest before you have to report to the Musical Tavern on Ship Street. But I will say you're not gonna get a full rest. You won't get your spell slots back, but you can roll hit dice like it's a short rest if you want. And I also will not give you a point of exhaustion
Oh,
because I think you rest enough to avoid the point of exhaustion, but not enough to like get all your retinue back. So if anybody's down on hit points, you can spend hit dice.
I get my spell slots back because I've only used wild shape.
well, looks like Buster's okay.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think I've done any strenuous things lately.
I think I healed most of you guys before, and I'm out of spell slots now, but I think that's how I use all my spell slots.
All my hit dice, huh? Oh. Hopefully I won't die.
Okay. Is there a Faerunian calendar that I can look at? I'm sure there is. Calendars in Faerun.
I feel like bugging our
Uh,
book friend about these phones is our best bet because we don't
The
really know
time
any
of
other
flowers.
magic people that like us in town.
Yeah.
So the month of Kythorn, the time of flowers, just ended, and the month of Flame Rule, Summertide, just started.
Let me guess, it's hot.
It's when it starts to get actually hot.
It's June.
And is there like I want to pick like an actual day because it's the first day of the week. As well as Sarah, there it is. No, that's not it. Phases of the moon and saloon. Isn't your god's name Saloon?
Soon.
Soon. I don't know. So it's this would be the second week of Flame Rule, the first day of the 10 days, so first day of the week, basically. And yes, at 6 bells, bright and early, the heat of the sun starting to crest over the walls of Waterdeep. You can see it sparkling over the great harbor, the sun, and you can feel the heat beating down, especially those of you that wear armor. You meet outside of this little shithole tavern on Ship Street. Yep, way down yonder. So like right about where they're pinging there. There's a little tavern called the Mule Skull Tavern. There's no sign or anything outside, but you've been told how to identify it, and it's just there's a literal skull of a mule. There's a short like front patio area, like a front deck basically. This place looks like it probably used to be a house, and it has like tiled overhanging, and there's just the skull of a mule set on top of it. And you can see four individuals standing around outside of it with brooms and wheelbarrows with not wheelbarrows. It's like a cart with a trash can on it, basically. And they're basically waiting for you to show up. It's two young men, an elderly looking woman, who's sort of hunchbacked and old and gnarled, um, and an older looking like half orc guy, whose skin is starting to turn from like green to slightly gray. And the old woman squints at you and looks back at the rest of the group and says, "I bet that be them then. There's a lot of them."
Yep, this BS.
Yep, this is us.
She nods. She goes, "We got word from. Oh, name's Eddie, by the way. Eddie Felbridge."
Like,
She holds out like a gnarled hand, the skin hanging off of her thick, worn knuckles.
Layla.
She's waiting for somebody to shake her hands. She
That yeah,
shakes hands
shake.
with her.
Yeah.
I shake her hand.
"Oh, it's nice to meet you. So the dock ward, she looks over the group of you. I can't tell if y'all from Waterdeep or not, but the dock ward, it's a rough area. We're to sweep from here to the start of Strip Street down to Dock Street. Probably take us the 10 day. You're just supposed to watch our backs."
You got it.
She nods, and then the others are kind of just leaning up against their brooms and stuff, waiting. She's like, "Well then, lads, let's get to it. Let's get it done." And they sort of push out and turn right down the street, and you can tell that they're you can see people watching. This is not a common occurrence, a big like sweeping in this area, but they begin working their way down the street in a line, just with brooms sweeping along. Um, it's most of the day passes. It's hot. It's boring. You're tired. You have that "I didn't sleep enough" hangover where like you're fuzzy and things aren't going quite clearly, but they're
That's my
they
plate.
start their they start their sweeping.
Oh, that's my plate.
All right. I guess I'll watch from behind.
Hey, you wanna make like a perception check?
Yeah. Let's make a perception check. I'm not. I'm all right at those, but not great. Apparently not great.
Okay. You don't see anything out of the ordinary or any.
Okay. Just the usual people of the dockboard.
Yeah, sailors moving about goods, guards walking up and down the street. Chris, the thing that stands out to you here is the guards and most of the northern districts of Waterdeep. The guards, they wear light armor and they carry short swords. Here they're like more equipped to fight. They all have like a billy club and a shield and like a longsword and a crossbow. Like, and their armor they're wearing is a breastplate rather than like a lighter set of like just like a chain shirt or something. So and you can see the guards you do see are sweating in the heat of the day. So they're a little more a little more heavily equipped. But nothing sort of stands out. It's slow and it's hot and it's boring work. Um, did you guys want to do anything? So the day passes pretty much without event. Did you guys want to do anything while they're sweeping along and cleaning the street?
Can I be like slowly like whittling my puppet?
Like
As we're
you
walking
want to yeah
around?
you want to like walk out ahead of them and then whittle while they sweep and work their way up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Hmm. Don't mind me.
So you can finish the head today and begin your work on the body.
Just doing
I
some
think.
totally normal activities.
And they take a lunch break at 12 bells, which would be noon. They take a lunch break and like they're all sitting around kind of eating. They find like awnings or underhangings or something to sit under to get out of the sun. The sun's beating down on you.
Is there a way that I could learn how to make holy water?
I think there's a spell for that.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm just like studying some spells while we walk.
Uh,
What would the holy water of the god of love look like?
Pink.
With hearts, I'm sure.
Aw,
Little heart-shaped glitter sparkles in it. I don't know.
those are good.
If there was a god of lust, it would be like sweat.
yeah, there's a spell called Bless Water.
Okay. What level is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's probably something she'll take in the future. So she's just kind of studying up on that.
It's in Xanathar's guide, so we can look it up later.
Okay.
If you know which one of these boxes that book is in.
I might.
Do you have your knife to open the box? Okay. Okay, yeah. So the day passes. It's hot. Chris whittles. Layla, reads through the what is like the religious text of your group written on? Is it like big heavy tablets that you have to carry around with you?
I think it's
Um,
just like
is
a
it a
leather-bound book.
book, like an actual book? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the lusty Argonian.
Celestia
Celestia
Argonian
Argonian
made.
made.
Yeah. That's really what it is.
She's just like, oh yes,
Did
your
you say
spear is so polished.
Xanathar's?
It's in Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like that, and
It's
I
a first level spell.
I think they probably in the churches have big stone tablets and things for more permanency, but the copy that she has is a portable copy. Because she's a traveler.
So unlike Christianity, you know, which this isn't quite medieval era. It's just after that, but unlike Christianity of the time, where the books were hoarded and only priests were really allowed to read them, your religion is open. It's like people can just buy copies of the religious text of your book or of your order of your religion.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, they can all visit the chapels. They have like guided tours and that
There
kind
is
of
a
thing.
temple for your god in Waterdeep too.
Yeah, so I think that they're really open about everything and they're polytheistic people. Like they don't want you to be just one god, but
It's the Temple of Beauty. That is the temple to your god. It
and
is.
and I think in the Temple of Beauty they have like lots of statues. It looks kind of like one of those an art museum
Yeah,
a
it's
little
in
bit.
the Sea Ward near Ivory Street. Okay, so
Wait, so how far along are we in history at this point? Like, are
how
there printing presses? Is there like
um
woodblock printing?
there's like woodblock printing. Yeah, books are
Yeah.
readily available.
Okay.
And there's probably some sort of like semi-magical way of transcribing things. That's probably a large function of the font of knowledge. The college is just reprinting books.
Okay.
But books are readily available. Everything from like trash romance novels like the Lusty Argonian made up to like heavy intellectual studies, philosophy. I mean, Volo, who you met, is an author. He makes his money by printing books.
Hmm. Wait, so is I'm starting to get into like the weird.
Yeah.
Is like paper a thing, or do they mostly have like parchment and like papyrus? Or
Uh,
what?
paper is a thing. So
Okay.
think like pre-Victorian era Europe, like just before that.
Okay. Okie dokie. Cool.
Like right around the time, like cannons are a thing, gunpowder is a thing.
Yeah.
It's just not widespread yet.
Okie dokie.
But you would see ships in the harbor with cannonry, with
Yeah.
yeah.
While we're walking around, I would like to just kind of look and see, and it's the same. I don't need any details or anything like that, but I feel like Pelric is going to try to um, get a better grasp on the city by just seeing where things are. Kind of like how you passively look for new restaurants whenever you place.
Okay.
You're not gonna go in or anything. You just
I
like
mean,
knowing where things are.
in the dock ward specifically, it's hard to tell because the buildings. In fact, if you scroll up, you can see this. Like as you go further north on the map, the buildings get bigger and further apart. So in the dock ward and in the trade wards, everything is sort of just jammed together as close as they can get it. The buildings are small and stacked on top of each other. There's lots of tenements. There are restaurants and inns and bars, but in the dock ward they seem to mostly and probably brothels. They seem to mostly cater to like sailors and people who work on the docks. So they're all kind of rough and tumble. Closer to the actual docks themselves, like the closer you get to Dock Street, the more like trade offices you see. Places that trade and like specific items. Like there's a place that trades in textiles and a place that trades in probably paper. So there's stuff like that. So this area of Waterdeep is more business oriented. It's more oriented towards supporting the dock and the restaurants and things like that are here and bars are set up to cater to people who are in that part of the like that business.
Gotcha. Have we seen those kids anymore?
Not yet.
No.
You probably will eventually again. I made character sheets and tokens for them.
Woohoo!
So yeah, the day passes. It's hot. It's boring. Just before sunset, the dung sweepers, their barrels full, their trash cans on wheels full. The little old lady tells you that's the end of their day. They'll meet you back at the same location in the morning, and basically to have a good night. I also found I have this cool handout. Hang on, where is it? This. It shows the different ways you can get around the city. So there's like a pedicab, which is like it's like a bus, the pedicab.
Oh, cool.
It holds a bunch of people. There's the carriages and stuff. I don't know, it's just a cool little piece of art they threw in there.
Wow.
That's nice.
I like.
Admittedly, I didn't know that was what a pedicab was, and the idea of us trying to like hail a bus is very amusing to me.
Taxi.
And then you guys have also visited the castle ward. So I have this handout for the castle ward.
Oh, look at that.
Where it's all clean and neat. You can see the guards.
Oh, I have a question. Since it's a first level spell, can I put it on my character sheet and then whenever I do my evening
Yeah.
studies, I can prep it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
The other thing you would notice as like you're in the more ramshackled, like heavily packed area is the Griffin Cavalry seems to patrol this area more heavily.
Have they had trouble recently, or is it just because,
You don't know. Like they just like have I ever told you guys about the Griffin Cavalry?
Nope.
You mentioned them.
There's legit cavalry in Waterdeep. They ride around on griffins.
what?
So you can see them. They're the like armored griffins with the like heavily armored knights swooping around above head. And they're just doing a patrol.
Oof. So
That's
they're
pretty
trotting
neat.
around with their little griffins.
No, they fly. They're flying or they swoop down over the building, down in the streets, and then pick back up overhead. Oh, it came back.
I
Okay.
lost the audio too.
So we don't hear you guys. You might want to tell them in chat.
Okay, I told them.
Where dim snack bars at?
Bottom cabinet to the left of the sink.
Hello?
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Yay.
Now we hear you.
Okay. No, so the Griffin Cavalry, they're on Griffin, so they fly.
Oh, okay.
They swoop down over the street, and you can see like the heavily armored knight that rides it looking down, but they don't land and like walk around.
Okay. Wow. So this is just kind of like I wonder if they have heavy crime.
I wonder how effective
Well,
the Griffins
I
would be
mean-
against alleyways and stuff, because
They hired us
wingspan's a thing.
to watch the back of the like poop sweepers.
What would they want with the
So-
poop sweepers?
No, bad neighborhood, maybe.
Are they
Kinda.
I,
Are they
I assume you
stealing
guys are
the-
having this conversation as you go, like you head back to Troll Skull.
Mm-hmm.
I do. What time do they usually finish their shift?
Just before sunset.
Okay, Kelrick's gonna. Sorry, Kelrick's gonna peel off about 2 hours before sunset and head to the back to the farmlands.
Right, you're leaving us.
We discussed this.
But,
Okay.
but
And I think Kurt and I wanted to go to the bookworm and ask him about bones because
Do we have any on us?
I kept the bones in my hat.
Oh, okay. Hopefully they're not picked clean by now.
Why would they be picked clean? I don't know what you're implying, my friend.
As long as you still have them.
And the hat shakes.
Okay.
I have another question about being a cleric. How many spells am I allowed to learn? Is there
You know
a limit?
all of them.
Okay, so I know anything that is a cleric spell in any book.
Anything of a level that you can cast, you know.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious. So
And
I
you
will
pick-
put so many to prep.
Yeah, and then you have so many that you prep per day that you can cast.
Okay. Cool. Because right now I have all of these, but I'm going to change it up this evening when I do a little bit of prepping. Or I guess the next day.
So Kurt and Buster, if you guys take the bones to Bookworm, I can tell you that he cannot give you any more information than you have discerned. You guys rolled very high on your checks, and he doesn't have anything. So he basically repeats the things you know.
Oh.
Well, would he know anyone who would in town? There's got to be someone in Waterdeep.
I'm gonna make a check for him.
What kind of would that be an investigation?
I'll make a check for him to see if he knows.
Otherwise, we're just gonna have to start poking around.
Intro.
I still think we should take the bones back
You
to
wanna roll?
Emerald Enclave.
This is just my role because I mean.
It'll be for him. You're asking him if he knows anyone.
Oh.
Okay. He sort of shrugs, Rashal, and says, yes, well, there are, they do teach a class on such a thing, and there's a part of the font of knowledge that's dedicated to, constructs and automatons and that sort of thing, and that there are courses taught there on that specific school of transmutation magic. I forget the name of the woman who's what do they call somebody who's the head of like a specific group in a college?
Headmaster? Dean?
No.
Yeah. Cat? said Dean, I think.
Yeah, I forget the name of the woman who's the dean of that department, but um, there are courses taught there, and he shrugs.
Well, that's as good a deed as any.
I love learning.
Scholarly farmers, eh?
He nods and he says, "They do allow you to sit in on a class or two here or there. You can pay a fine or a fee if you don't want to pay the full tuition and sit in on a
Just
specific course."
audit it unofficially and not pay anything.
No.
That's the secret.
Yeah, interesting.
Just gotta sneak in.
Yeah. Just sit in the back row. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hopefully they won't smell me.
I like how see you is not the thing you defaulted on. Smell you is the thing that...
Most people don't look down at me. They just kind of look at what they stepped in.
So, Kelric, you wanted to go back out to that farm area and see if anything had changed or been disturbed during the day.
Yes.
Okay. Are you gonna do it as a dog, or are you gonna do it as Kelric?
I'm gonna dire wolf it up.
Okay. You're not a dire wolf. You're a dog.
But I can be a dire wolf.
You can't turn into a dire.
It's got a challenge rating of 1.
You're gonna scare everyone away.
You can't do that yet. You're not high until you hit level 3.
I thought I could do challenge ratings of 1.
I think it's 1/4.
And it's a quarter if... Oh, yeah, that's right. Moon is level 3.
Until you take Circle of the
5.
Moon.
Massive!
Or did you already pick your druidic circle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we level?
You asked whenever I was still level 1.
You're level 2. You max CR 1/2 unless you take, or 1/4 unless you take Circle of the Moon. Okay, so you get your druidic circle at 2nd level, so you could turn into a dire wolf. I have stats for you as a regular wolf.
As basically the reason I turned into a dire wolf was because it gives me 50 foot run speed.
Okay, let me.
To be big, he could be a big doggy, the biggest doggy.
Let me change your dog from a
No, dire wolf.
wolf to a dire wolf then.
Like a wolf next to a mastiff. I think wolves are still bigger than mastiffs.
And wanted to
Depends on the. I mean, some wolves are like 30 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
And then some wolves are 100 pounds. It depends on the species of wolf.
I think.
All right. Kelric dog is now a dire wolf. I was using stats for a regular wolf.
Again, I mostly just want it for the run speed. I hope I don't get into any fights.
Yeah. You want me to come with you?
I mean,
I'm not doing nothing.
You were.
Okay, dog.
Was it? You were watching the poop people.
Oh, right. You left like in the middle.
Right.
She left at the end, like the last 2 hours. Okay, dog.
Oh dear.
I have to change all the text to not say wolf.
Sorry.
Okay, you have much better stats as a dire wolf.
I know.
Than a regular wolf.
That's one reason.
Oh shit. Okay. And then, well, let me click on pack tactics. No, okay. Well, I changed it where it said wolf to K-dog instead of wolf. Nobody's ever gonna see it but me and you.
I'm gonna become a rapper called K-dog.
Okay, so you run out into the fields. I assume you don't want people to see a dire wolf running around. So go ahead and make like a stealth check as a dire wolf for me.
You could just.
Oh wait, no, you're a big giant dog. You're not. You don't look like a wolf, right? You look like a mastiff, like a big dog.
A huge dog.
Okay, yeah. I don't think that would. I don't think that would freak people out as bad as like a dire wolf running around. You are a large beast, so you are a horse-sized dog.
It's fine.
Mommy, look at the big dog.
A lot less like a wolf. A dog is a domesticated animal, so a lot less than like a wolf would.
Yeah, but
like,
one that's horse-sized?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just be Archer at twice his size.
That would be terrifying.
Be a pony.
He'd be a real
doesn't have
pony.
good smell. And also, they might go, look, free horse!
So you are, you are in the same range, from somewhere from like a horse to like a small giant,
I'm one of those
like an
freaking-
ogre.
I'm one of those bear hunting dogs.
Yeah. So you
It is
Irish,
fun.
fucking Irish wolfhound.
Yeah.
God.
That's the only dumb dog I've ever owned was an Irish wolfhound. That is an Irish wolfhound.
It
in that
is.
picture,
That's
yeah.
what I searched to find that.
Yeah. Only stupid dog I've ever owned. So you're
Oh.
you're
Oh, there
loping.
you go.
So dumb. The reason we got her is because she had puppies and she would lay on the puppies and kill them because she was too dumb. She was too dumb to get up, so you had to watch her all the time with the puppies to make sure she didn't lay on them.
No.
So somebody was like, "I can't deal with this," and my mom took
God.
her. Anyway, so she had that one litter of puppies, and we had her fixed. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check with advantage because I'm assuming you're sniffing.
Yeah. Do I use the dog one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just updated it.
Okay. You might want to make those two different ones because I'll use different things depending on if I'm city or not.
I just assumed if you were gonna turn into a dog, you turn into this every time.
Nope. Different types of dogs. Some of them are smaller.
That's initiative.
I know I'm being dumb. Leave me alone.
So you just need wisdom.
Start something.
Your perception is +3.
I saw the little dice and I jumped on it.
Oh. Hi,
You got a-
Archer.
You got a 9.
Aw.
So you got a. So it's actually +3. So you actually got an 18 because you do have perception as a skill. As you're hunting around, and sort of running about because you are quick as a giant dog. You can cover the area within a couple hours, and there is a fresher scent that it seems that same smell of like must and sweat and that odd incense smell is based on your 18. The person has returned at some point during the day and since left again.
Do any of the scarecrows smell of them?
More strongly than recently. Yeah, they've been moved around as well. They've been picked up and like tossed into refuse piles where you assume they probably get burned later. And then they've been like dug back out of those
Aw.
refuse piles.
Do any of them smell like the bones?
Yeah.
did?
No. The bones have not. Yeah, that change has not been made. But the person, your best way to put this together would be the person who put them here, the bones there initially, has returned.
So all of these scarecrows are like up now, or are they all in a pile?
The ones that were destroyed got like thrown into a pile somewhere behind one of the farms with a bunch of like it's like a burn pile. Like it looks like they're getting ready to have a bonfire.
Mm.
For those of you who've lived in the country before.
My
Okay,
my
so
neighbor does that.
the ones that we destroyed are in a pile.
Yeah, they threw them into like a pile of other stuff that's getting ready to be burned, and they've been pulled back out of the pile.
In a different pile, or are they like up?
They're not back up. They're just laying scattered across the ground, like somebody dug through them.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna follow my nose towards the sun.
Yeah, it heads back into town, back toward the north gate.
Oh, I'm not gonna be able to go into town like this.
Oh.
It's fine.
It'll be fine.
It's fine.
I need adult supervision.
He's looking for his bones.
He wants his bones.
His bones! Oh god, what if it's a
but
ghost?
But I don't think that they've installed any more scarecrows, right? Basically,
You can, you check the other scarecrows, and the ones that are still up, they don't have that smell to them, and they don't seem to have been molested.
Mm.
Okay. any like shirts in the pile that smells like the scent I'm looking for?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run off with one of those.
Okay.
Just
Yeah. You,
giant dog running with a shirt in his mouth. That's
yeah.
all she is.
I mean, to anybody that would see you, it just looks like a dog ran up, dug through a refuse pile, took a shirt, and ran off. So.
Yes, best plan. And then I'll return to the city. And I'm pretty sure that my spell would have wore off by then. So
Yeah. Your beast shape ability.
yeah.
One of these days, I'll bust my druid back out. Okay. So I guess the rest of you reconvene eventually back at Troll Skull Manor.
What are you talking about? Finn was a druid for like an hour.
Finn? Finn's a no.
Because he got turned into a T-Rex.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was
Fighting
long
a
on.
Serac.
Oh, Finn was the one that got turned into a T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Oh, that's right. He like. Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
Fell in that lava.
This is
Nice.
Troll Skull Alley. So as uh let's see. So Kellerick would still. I think you guys all meet back up in Troll Skull Alley, like toward the entrance, as you like around the same time as you guys like punch out from work, and some of you go to the bookstore and things like that. And as you're coming into Troll Skull Alley, the shop down the street from you, what you assume is a shop, the place with the sign with just a big like cat's eye on it. There's a man standing on the front like stoop on the front stairs, and we've all seen like a noir detective, right? Like the or have you guys all played Fallout? You know the dude, this perk you can get in Fallout where that guy will just show up when you're in vats and shoot somebody.
Oh, the guy with the sunglasses.
Yeah, he's got like the sunglasses,
The
and the hat,
stranger.
and the trench coat. The mysterious stranger. There's a guy standing on the front stoop of that place, like uh reaching into his like coin purse, and he looks like that. He's got like the hat that comes down and almost covers his face, and a trench coat with like, even though it's boiling fucking hot out, a trench coat with the collar turned up to cover most of his face. And he's reaching into his coin purse, and the three kids that you guys had met previously, they're standing like in a row in front of him.
My children!
And he pulls three coins out of his coin purse, and you can't see his face. It's like obscured by the hat and the collar, but you hear him kind of chuckle, and he's putting a coin in each of their hands.
Can I go up and ask the kids, if they want to stay in our house?
Sure. Yeah. So you come walking up, and there's the tall girl with like reddish hair, who couldn't talk. She seemed to be mute. There's the little chubby, dark-skinned, like Calishite boy, the fat boy with the owl bear, stuffed owl bear,
Aw.
and the girl has like a wooden sword, and the boy has the stuffed owl bear, and then the other boy is a tiefling, with like budding little horns just starting to grow, and he has strung over his back in a way that nobody who's like a real archer would ever do, where they put the string over, you know,
Yeah.
like a shoddy, like little shitty ass wooden bow, and like a quiver of arrows at his side, and they're each like in a little line, and they're holding out their hands, and this dude is putting a coin in it, and like I think when you come up, he's putting a coin in Nat's hand, the last one, and when you come up, he's putting like a fucking gold coin in these kids' hands. It's a lot of money
Damn.
for street urchins. And when you come close, you can see his face. He's fairly young looking, like maybe in his late 20s, clean shaven. He has dark, like black hair, like inky black hair, and he has yellow, like piercing, bright yellow eyes. He was fairly handsome. He looks over as he's putting the coin in Nat's hand and sort of smiles at you.
Oh, he's handsome. Well, hello there.
And he nods and he says, "Yes, hello." And he,
Layla, nice to meet you.
"Oh, I'm sorry, just a moment." And then he turns back to the kids and he's like, "So you remember what I told you?" And Nat nods and he says, "Good, good. Now, don't spend it all in one place and be safe. Stay off the streets tonight." And she nods and she signs.
Speaking of staying off the
Yeah,
streets,
she makes some kind of hand sign at Jinx, and Jinx goes, "I don't know what that means." And then I'm sorry, at the Tiefling boy. She makes some kind of hand sign at him. He goes, "I don't know what that means." And she's like, looks at him real hard and does it again, and he goes, "She says thank you." And then she nods, and then
wait.
yeah,
So, you guys need a place to stay? I have a giant house, and I don't know where you guys live, but you can live in this house.
yeah, and she goes, the the little chubby boy goes, "Oh man, we could just stay with these random strangers we just met on the street."
Isn't that great?
The
Great
little
idea.
Tiefling boy.
I talked to you guys like 2 weeks ago. Come on, I'm
And
not a stranger.
the girl squints at you real hard and then makes some signs with her hands, and the little chubby boy goes, Nat says she doesn't know that if we should trust you. And the dude on the stoop is just like, his jaw is open, like he's like, you just invited these kids into your house, so he's just like,
What?
yeah, he's
Well,
just standing there shocked.
oh, you don't trust me. Okay, well, we have this house that is pretty cool and it has like a bar in it and
Definitely not
cool
haunted.
tubs, definitely not haunted.
Oh man, that place is haunted.
Yeah.
I definitely want to live there. And well, I'm a wizard, so if there's a ghost, I can cast spells on it and make it go away.
Oh, no,
I know
it's
magic.
cool. The ghost is cool. It's a cool ghost.
Cleaning
Yeah,
ghosts.
I mean, yeah. Well, if you don't want to pay for a place to stay,
If you
we're
guys
hardly
want
ever there.
helping,
And
I'm
we
like working on making a puppet.
Also
so
true.
The ghost can like.
Yeah, and the girl turns to the guy standing on the stoop and like makes hand signs at him.
You're definitely not.
And he does something back. He makes hand signs back at her.
Do I know what he's saying?
I mean, you don't speak sign language.
No.
So he does it back, and she nods, and then she looks at you very determined, and she makes some hand signs, and the man on the deck says, she says that they would stay with you for a probationary period.
Okay.
It's like a test run.
Cool.
That's fine.
Yeah, we mostly need somebody to watch the place because we're not there a lot, so.
So
And
child labor. You're looking for child labor. That's illegal in the city.
No.
not child labor.
We're not
Not ghost labor.
He's just sitting there blinking.
And the kids don't need to be on the street, and I'm a lover, not a fighter, so I prefer that they were loved.
Are all of us there, or is it just Layla?
I mean, the group of you all kind of showed up at the house at the same time. Layla saw these kids and took off running over.
She found them. Plus, we have some people that are around the house a lot, and they are just like the boringest people. So, because AKA, it's the people that aren't here today.
And the man nods and he says, "Well, I am amenable to the idea that these poor children shouldn't be on the street, but would it be safe for them there?"
Oh yeah, don't worry about the ghost. It's fine.
Should be safe.
He shrugs and like does the sign at
Yeah, probationary period sounds good.
they have like a brief conversation in sign language, and then she looks at you and she nods like very like sternly, like, oh, I'm like she's come to some great decision.
Okay.
and and the other kids go, "Oh, cool, man. Let's go look at this house. We're gonna." And Jinx is like, "I know magic. I'm gonna enchant the whole place. I'm gonna put so many spells up.
Okay, don't put anything dangerous up.
There's just so many spells."
We're gonna need to provide pillows or something.
Yep. Calric, great, volunteering.
I don't think we even have a bed yet.
One of you has bought a bed that has not been delivered yet.
I would like to see how much a bed is after I get done talking to this sweet man.
I think I said it was 50 gold pieces.
Oh God.
But I don't remember.
50 gold? You need to remember, because that's a lot.
Make a nest.
Goods and let me see how much like.
Kelrick's gonna look at the kids and go, "Did one or all of you want to come help me pick out pillows?"
Ooh, I want to help pick out pillows. I knew you weren't talking to me, but
We'll say to fully equip a bedroom to get like so
A
square
square room?
a square no not that I'm aware of a square lot yard of linen, which is a lot of fabric, is 5 gold pieces. So we'll say for a bed, all the linens, to have it delivered.
Can you pull up the map of the house?
Yeah, we'll call it 15 gold pieces.
Done. Well, I'm spending my first gold on
how much
buying a
would
bed.
it cost for me to steal some hay from the farmlands and live in that?
I mean, we can put them in the common room right here.
Oh yeah.
They could
Wait,
just
wait.
take my room.
What
I'll sleep in the
about
basement.
whose room is that one
No.
down?
Gonna be so
Who's
far
the
away from
A?
me though.
I think Minos can have
I
it.
think Annabelle called that room, but she hasn't actually been here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she's not gonna be off for the foreseeable future, so her room is up for dibs.
Yeah, we'll just
Alright,
put
put the kids in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna apparently go buy pillows and shit.
Yeah, pillows.
I can donate 1 bed to a child.
So for each room that you want to equip with, I mean, we'll say 15 gold for 3 kid-sized beds.
Okay, I will do the kids' beds.
For each room that you want to equip with a bedroom, or each bedroom that you want to make livable, we're gonna call it 15 gold to get the bed and the linens and the mattress and all of that.
Okay, I'll do mine and the kids.
Okay.
So that'll be 30.
So that's 30 gold.
Yeah.
I gotta do some math.
I now have
Anybody
no
else?
money.
How many bedrooms are we getting equipped with beds?
I think I'm just gonna sleep like in my adventuring bedroll. Like Chris has never slept in a comfortable bed. I don't think. I think it's fine. I'll just sleep in my bedroll. It's fine.
I mean,
I don't need a fancy bed.
this house has like a yard or something, right? I feel like
A
we
what?
just go sleep.
Not really.
No. We're like in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
We were going to turn our room into a garden.
Right, but it's not ready yet. I don't want to.
Not really. It's right up against the street, and it's right up against the houses next to it. There's a small, like I can show you. There's a small like shared
Patio thing.
backyard area right here.
Is there actual grass back there?
No, it's paved.
That's what I thought. It's just like a back alley kind of.
But like the street actually, the alley runs through here, so it's paved all the way up to the door. But like this area, like right here, is kind of cordoned off, but there's no garden or anything.
Eh.
Calrick's going to do the equivalent of putting a mattress on the floor, sleeping on that.
I mean, that's basically what I'm.
Adventuring bedroll is even lighter than a mattress, though.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. We'll call it 5 gold for a mattress if you want to do
One
that.
straw mattress.
I guess it's like a futon. You can sleep on a futon.
Fine. I don't have the funds for that. The floor it is!
Anybody? Okay, so just the 30 gold that Layla's investing. Nobody else is gonna.
I am gonna buy some nice pillows though when we go pillow shopping.
Okay.
We're going
Oh,
So
wait,
probably
you wanted
give
to
up
go
my
pillow
bed.
shopping?
I
I'm
have money for pillows. I don't have money for a mattress.
I am asking because I'm going to count this toward making the house livable again. So it's gonna help mark off the total that you guys need to get it back up and running.
I'm gonna buy a throw
Okay.
pillow.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm gonna buy
5
a
copper.
cozy blanket.
Cool. Make that 2 throw pillows. I'll throw one at freaking Adventure McGee over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I want like a soft blanket.
I'm getting 2 matching throws so we can actually put them on a couch whenever we eventually
Like
get a
a
couch.
cozy, fuzzy blanket.
I'm gonna try to suss out the stranger while they're shopping with the kids.
Okay. I mean, once you finish like talking, the kids take off running toward the house, and I
That's
assume
fine.
you're like, you're gonna show them their room and stuff. So you leave him standing on the street.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what his name is first before we leave.
Blanket is a gold piece. Before you leave, you're just gonna let the kids run into your house by themselves.
Well, Kelrick's taking him.
I'll go with them.
Okay. So you stay. So Kelrick and the kids leave, but we, like the observers of the campaign, we stay on the street with this guy, and he's standing there, and he starts to he looks at you and just sort of blinks.
So, my name's Layla. What's yours?
Oh, excuse me, that was a whole thing. My name is Vincent.
Hi, Vincent.
He nods.
So, what do you do?
Um, well, I find things
Oh,
and people.
what are you looking for?
Ask him if he can find a person for us.
He shrugs and he goes, "Whatever I get paid to look for."
Oh, what were you paying the kids for?
And he smiles and he's like, "They're good kids. I don't like seeing them on the street."
Can I roll insight on that?
Yeah.
20.
Let me get his character sheet.
Whoa. You're rolling good, dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm a cleric. I know when people lie to me.
Oh, and I didn't put marshmallow in the right side of the fork. I get lost the sauce.
do you know when people lie to you? You don't know when people lie to you.
Oh, he's really high, huh?
He goes,
I understand.
yeah, you sense no deception.
Okay. Well,
Boy.
perhaps, in more of a flirty tone, perhaps you would want to.
I'll give you this. There is something a little odd about his mannerisms. Like he doesn't stand still very well. He's not a very big guy. He's like 5'7", 5'8", like slender build. But like he's like constantly shifting his weight back and forth between his feet.
Well, perhaps, if you do love the children and such, maybe you want to stay with us for a night and see the condition and everything that they'll be living in and, stay with
I know why
me.
she's doing
Why
what
don't
she's
you turn
doing,
our
but
house
why
into
not
an
let you?
He smiles. He smiles and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, friend. I have business to attend to this evening. I was about to step out."
So you're here then? This is where you work out of, this building?
He nods and looks back behind him, and the DM has to find the
Figure
name
out
of
where
the
he
place.
works.
He says, "Yes, this is the Tiger's Eye.
Oh, hey, I've been there.
It is my place of business."
Good. I might actually have some business for you.
Tiger's Eye, the private eye.
And he kind of smiles and he says, "Well, I can find most things in Waterdeep if they're in the city, but my services are not cheap."
Hmm. Interesting. Well, we will discuss on another day what things we need you to find. It's a certain person.
He smiles and nods and he goes, "Well, very well. If you excuse me, I have a madam in the North Ward who believes her husband is stepping out with their maid, so..."
Oh, Can I roll insight on that? That sounds
He
real
probably
interesting.
is.
Or is he just blowing me off? Because
You believe him.
I believe him. Ooh. Well, that does sound like quite the tale. You'll have to come over and discuss this if you. Well, you can leave out most of the details, but I would love to hear more.
And he paws around at his coat and reaches into his overcoat and pulls out a card. And it's just like a cat's eye embossed on a card with the address in the back of it. And he goes, "You'll have to make an appointment with my assistant." Holds the card out to you.
Of course.
And he nods and he's like, "Well, it was a pleasure, Layla.
Mm,
Enjoy your day and good luck with Troll Skull."
Thanks.
And then he steps off his stoop and begins like walking out into the crowd, and within a couple of seconds, like disappears into the crowd, like just sort of blends in. Like
Mm.
what's that game? Assassin's Creed style, like where the hood goes up. Like he just sort of blends into the crowd. You lose him.
Hmm.
Not like he magically disappeared, but like
It's just gone.
you just kind of lose him in the crowd.
Okay, then. Huh. Weird guy. And I go back, I guess, to the house.
Ooh. Have a boyfriend?
I hope you guys wanted company to live with us because I volunteered our house. Sorry.
Yeah, the kids are like running around and sliding on things and swinging from things.
Oh dear.
Just being children.
There's not a lot of things to swing around.
Just as long as they don't injure
Like
the ghost.
crawling under tables.
They haven't been childproof.
Where did I put the
Children
tokens?
have
for
not
these
been
guys?
childproof. That is it.
They're a danger to themselves.
So
Oh
They
no.
are.
Others.
here is Nat. Here is. Let me change that token for Jinx. Cheese aside. Here is little
Aw.
owl bear boy. And here is Arrow Kid.
Oh, they're so cute.
They're so precious. I love them.
They're gonna stab us in the back so hard.
But it'll be
fun when they
adorable.
die.
It'll be worth it.
They're just babies.
I wish I had like named NPCs. Are they in here anywhere?
Oh, I wonder how Kimbo's going to because they're the closest.
That's
Jed's gonna be like, "You signed me up for what?"
That's what you get when you're not here.
Turn into a dog again. Turn into a dog again.
Also, we did finish the sound fire, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Jed would lose a cat skin. Like the cartoons with it have the vein bulge, it would just be like blood spurting out of that.
You what?
Yeah, look, this section's spinach, there's arugula, and then basil, and then lettuce, and that's iceberg lettuce.
I mean, if you guys want to legitimately convert that into a garden, it will take months.
Months.
That's fine. I'm up for it.
I was aware whenever I started the project, but we have to save up enough money to be able to.
So, yeah, right now you have not spent any money toward it. I'm adding
Well,
stuff.
they
here.
bought some plants and stuff, didn't you?
Yep, we gotta fight
I-
this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, how much money did you spend on that? Does anybody remember?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it then.
Okay.
Yeah, so the kids are running around the house, exploring, running up to you guys randomly and introducing themselves. Squidly introduces himself to like Buster like 3 times. And every time it seems like he doesn't remember having done it like 10 minutes ago.
Aw.
Squiggly.
Buster
He's
says, "Hello."
Squidly is the tiefling.
Oh, okay.
Oh, squiddly.
He doesn't seem super bright. Nat begins like walking. So while the other 2 kids are running around like crazy, Nat is like going through the house and like checking the locks on the doors and like checking the window shutters and like jumping on the
Yeah, she's
stairs
getting
to see if
place.
they're gonna break, and like she like grabs the handrail on the stairs and shakes it and it wobbles back and forth and she gives it like a disapproving look.
Oh boy.
And she's a little older than the other kids. The other 2 are probably like 8 or 9. She's probably closer to like 10.
Okay. Yeah, we got some upgrading to do to this place and
It's a
some
work in
general repairing.
Are you standing? Are you like? Do you walk up behind her, or are you standing where she can see you?
I'm like down on the floor while she's up on the stairs, like rattling. I'm like downstairs.
She looks down at you and like she points at her eyes and then points at your mouth. and then like shrugs.
I make a hammer and nail sign language
Okay.
to tell her that we need to fix it. And I point to myself and hammer.
Yeah, she sort of cocks her head to the side and squints at you, and then like starts going up the stairs.
Okay, whatever.
What's the tiefling kid's name again?
Squidly.
Squidly.
Hey, Squidly?
Yeah, you're tall.
Yeah, would you like to get on my shoulders? Then you could be tall too.
I mean, that makes sense. I think he just like walks up to you and starts trying to climb up you like a tree. He's just like,
I'll help him do it. So he's sitting on my.
Oh my god.
Can your can she read and write?
he looks down at you like over the top of your head, and he's like, "What's that?"
Oh dear.
That's a no.
Well, she can probably read lips.
Well, I was thinking, maybe.
You know what we could
We gotta
do.
send him to school.
Oh god, where is the school? What have we done?
Oh no, we're.
I mean, you're the one that
So
took them
Kelric
in.
is going to
No.
do his stuff there.
And Jinx, when you ask if Natter can read and write, Squidly's like, "What's that?" And Jinx goes, "I can read and write. I'm a wizard." Spell book.
Oh!
It's in the sewer.
Oh,
Oh.
I should probably go get that.
probably.
Do you want company, or do you want to take your? Should I just call you all friends, or are you siblings?
Yeah, Squidly looks down at you and goes, "We're not related. That's silly. That doesn't make any sense. Look at I have horns. That one's fat. That doesn't have any horns."
I
that's
also
not
make no
nice.
sense. You could all be half.
Yeah,
We're
they're here.
family in spirit, and that's all that matters.
We're not related either.
But do you need someone to go with you?
Please stop touching me.
I'm trying to find the name of Jinx's owl bear.
So Kelric is gonna put his hands on Squidly's legs to keep him down. Then he's gonna
Familiar.
spin around really fast.
Oh no.
Alright, boy, stuffed owl bell familiar. He doesn't have a name apparently. He's like, "I've got my familiar. I can take him with. He'll protect me. If anything gets bad, I'll do magic, or he'll eat him."
That's a good plan.
Also,
how far away is the bookstore? Isn't it just like?
It's like right next to us.
It's two doors down. Yeah.
Can I run over there and see if they have a sign language book?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think you catch Rashal as he's getting ready to lock the door for the night, and he has a big bundle of books, and he puts the key in the lock, and
Hey!
he nods, and he's like, "Oh, I do believe I have something like that. Yes. Come in. I'll lock up in a minute. And I'll take you in." And
Journal for me. I'll pay you back.
Are you getting this across the street?
No, as you leave.
Oh, okay.
If I know you're going to the bookstore, I'll.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll do that.
How much would a book cost? Does he have? Hang on. He might have Troll Skull Manor. It might tell me how much a book costs.
Huh. That's actually really interesting
Or
because that
does
means that Nat knows how to spell, but she doesn't know how to read.
Well,
You don't know if she knows how to read. You have to ask her. You ask Squidly.
No, I'm assuming that because whenever there's not a word for something in sign language, they spell it out.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll say he has a book on sign language. We'll call it 5 gold pieces, and an empty journal right in. We'll call it a piece.
Okay. I'll take. What? Where's my?
It's on the first. Oh,
I have 9 gold. Now I have 4 gold. That's enriched,
Oh,
I guess.
we need to go to the tavern to get paid for today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
per day. Yeah, for 10 days.
Yeah. So I guess we'll take the kids and we'll get them fed at the bar. That's a thing to do, right?
So as
It's
you're
not fish and chips.
Oh,
as you're
good.
yeah, Clipper and Chips. As you're coming down the as you're coming back in, Chris, Nat is coming back down the stairs like with her wooden sword at her side. Um, she has a very confident stride. She sort of squints down and looks at all of the group of you, and then comes the rest of the way down the stairs. She sees Squidly riding around on Kelrick's shoulders and gives him like a heart.
Yeah. All right. So, dinner, food,
Yeah, let's food. Let's go food.
chomp,
Let's
chomp,
food.
chomp.
Go.
I make like eating gestures
Yeah.
at her, and then
She-
do this.
Now that she's closer to you, she like shakes her head a little exasperated, and she points at her eyes again, and then points at your mouth.
I think she's trying to say that she just needs to see your mouth moving.
Yeah.
Oh.
She can read lips.
Do you want dinner?
And then and then she looks over at like Squidly on Kelrick's shoulders and signs something, and Squidly leans down so he can see Kelrick's face. So he's like leaning over you, his forehead's dangling down, and he's like, "She says you don't have to talk slow. She's not stupid."
Aw.
I just have like the dejected face. Food? And then I come back up and go food.
Yeah, food. Yeah, let's go.
All right.
And Jinx is like, "I'll get my spell book later."
Yeah, we'll get it later. Don't worry. All right, we're gonna go get food and get paid.
Yeah. And as you're walking, Jinx like kind of sidles up next to Kurt, and
Hello.
he kind of looks up at Kurt and he goes, "Are you a wizard?" And he's like squinting at you really hard.
I'm not, but this guy is.
Looks over, kind of sniffs at Buster, sniffs at Buster. He doesn't look like a wizard. You look more like a wizard. Do you know magic?
His wizard secrets are under his hat.
No, they're not. I don't even have
Tell him
a
to take.
He jumps up. He's only a couple of like a foot or two shorter than Buster, so he jumps up and tries to grab Buster's hat. And Buster's still like leaned back out of the way. And he's like, "I want a wizard's hat. I should have a pointy hat like all the other wizards. You know, wizards wear hats."
Let him wear your wizard hat, Buster.
No, it must never leave my head.
I'm just gonna ride around with freaking Squiggly on my shoulders.
Yeah.
It's
He
the
loves it.
source of his magic.
So if I take his hat, I can know his magic.
Yeah.
Not
like-
sure.
It's like his spell book.
I don't know.
His
And then he-
soul is in that
And then he
hat.
looks over at the hat. He's like, "I'm gonna get that hat."
Language, son, language.
Is Buster just gonna spend the rest of the day like this?
You call him son. He looks up at you and goes, "Are you my mom now?"
No.
And then Squidly looks down at Kelrick and is like, "Kelrick, are you my mom now?"
Yes.
Kelrick just gets like this really confused.
Dog, mom.
I mean, no, I'm a boy, but
You can't be somebody's mom and be a boy.
You can be a man, mom.
Yeah, it's like a man bun.
Man, mom. Got it.
did you want me to be?
I don't know. I've never had one of those.
Cool. You can have a lot of moms and a lot of dads.
Well,
Are you-
let's see how this probationary period works. 'Cause
Yeah.
if
And
that's
Nat is just like
not gonna work.
Nat is just like very closed off body language. Like she's got her arms crossed and her head down. She's looking around at you all suspiciously as you guys are walking through the streets.
Is Nat your mom? Maybe Nat's their mom.
That's not my mom. That's dumb. You're a dumb. I'm glad you're not my mom.
Aw.
She just becomes very disheartened and walks very sadly.
Could you ask Nat if she's okay? For me, Squiggly.
I mean, you can just ask her. You just have to be looking at her.
She's more likely to talk to you.
He looks over at Nat and goes, "Hey, Nat! Nat!" And he pokes her. She turns and looks at him. "Mom wants to know if you're okay."
Aw.
um, and she signs a bunch of stuff. He goes, nah, so if I say so, it is. And they argue for a few seconds. And then he goes, yeah, she's fine. She's just grumpy because she says we're adventurers and adventurers don't live with people like this, and that you guys aren't real adventurers.
We're adventurers. Excuse.
Who has
Oh.
the cool bones to show them as
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, where are those bones at?
No,
yes.
no, we're not gonna show
Buster, show
children.
them the bones.
No,
Kids
we're not
have-
showing children.
Just open the sack. Don't take them out, though.
Frick.
No, it's a bad
He takes the
idea.
bones out of his hat.
Yeah, the other two kids get all excited and run over. Nat
Shit,
just
these
looks at him,
are-
squints, and she signs something. But the other two kids are too excited to see it, so they translate. And then she just shakes her head.
Kelrick just. I mean, Kelrick's already carrying Squidly. Can you just pick up Jinx and keep walking?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Squidly tries to scramble off of you to look at the bones because
No.
bones.
No.
So yeah, eventually you guys make your way to the yawning portal, and the kids are excited about that. They know about this place because it's a hub for adventurers, and the usual cast is spread across. And they're excited. Squidly tries to shoot somebody with his bow. The arrow breaks, it doesn't work right. Jinx is casting spells, they're flailing around being kids.
Oh.
Nat goes over and just plops down at the table curmudgeonly. But eventually you guys get them under control, order food or do whatever else you want.
We have kids now. This is gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
we're parents now. I
Hey,
guess.
you're the ones that got all excited when I was like, "There's 3 little street kids."
We need them.
You
We
brought
can't.
this on yourselves.
We need these
I'm not
street
thrilled.
kids.
I'm not saying I'm upset that we have kids. It's just gonna be very interesting. I feel like the manner of pets that we keep every game.
Well, now we have pet children.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, because we started off with a
Goblin in a sack.
and then we moved on to having a hand.
A skeletal zombie hand thing.
Now we have children.
Now we have children. Well, we also had the horse that ate gold. That really wasn't a pet, I guess.
Oh yeah.
The things that were actually useful for anything besides RP purposes don't count.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. We just keep collecting things. Yeah, so I guess I'll order food for the kids and then you guys can
Bonnie-
get us paid.
Bonnie goes through the motions of waiting, and brings the quipper and chips over.
Oh, I make
And,
sure to order them the adult plates, the adult size, because they'll take it home for.
They don't have different sizes.
Oh,
They're
good.
legitimately the only fucking kids in this place.
Oh, okay, that's
Oh, you
great.
allowed it?
Nobody seems to I mean, you get some odd looks, but Bonnie doesn't try to be like, hey, we serve booze. You can't have kids in here. So seems
It's
like it.
fine.
Yeah, it's
They're
fine.
supervised. We're watching them.
I was thinking more like European public house kind of style, but
No, it's a bar for adventurers.
well,
There's a big pit in the middle.
also
There's a
true.
big pit in the first session we played, a fucking troll came out of that thing, and the bartender had to kill it with a giant sword.
If that's the case, I'm gonna tell the kids that they have to stay at the table because it might be dangerous, and
That's gonna make them want to do it more.
Wait, so what's the
Nat-
official name again?
Nat signs at you as you're like, it might be dangerous, and she says Jinx will translate it. She basically says, that they can take care of themselves, that they're adventurers.
oh great, okay, good.
I'm gonna look at Nat and I'm gonna be like, hey kid, you like swords?
Ooh,
She nods.
And I'm gonna point at the big sword that's hanging over the bartender's
Yeah,
area.
Durnan.
Yeah, Durnan's thing. Look at that sword.
Yeah, her eyes get real wide, and she signs frantically at you something that you don't. And then she has to grab Squidly by the horn and make him look at her.
Yeah.
And it twists his head around and signs at him. And Squidly says, now wants to know if it's magic.
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm
Wanna
gonna go.
find out?
Yeah, that'd be good.
And I just kind of like I escort her over to the bar, and I'm like, "Hey, Darnan, is that a magic sword?"
He looks back at it, looks back at you, and he goes, "What kind of lout do you take me for? Of course it's magic."
Nice. Oh, can I ask Durnan if he's got like a lost and found of dead people's adventuring gear in the back? Like stuff that came up in the basket, but not people.
Clearly you're not trying to find actual sharp and pointy objects to give to children.
Oh, maybe I am. They're old
He
enough.
looks at you and shrugs. He's like, "Yeah, I got some equipment from that elven dude. He said he wasn't gonna the adventure anymore. Threw his shit on the bar and left."
Well, you don't.
Yeah,
have to take
can
the
I
kids.
look through
Pull
it?
Your eyes out.
Or have it
We're
for
the worst
a
parents
price if
ever.
you want a
I love it.
price for it.
Layla. Please.
He was like, "You're good patrons. You helped me kill that."
Yeah.
He's like,
Layla,
"Bonnie."
you can buy them those things if you teach. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. He's like, "Bonnie, go get that elf shit." And she's holds up a finger, but after a minute or two, she goes in the back and comes back out with like a pack with a short sword and a dagger strapped to it, and like a bedroll and water skin, like an adventurer's kit. And she plops it down on the bar, and he's like, "All yours."
Thank you. I'm gonna pick it up and take it back over to the table. Okay, and I'm gonna write that as something I picked up.
Durden pours something in a glass for Matt, and puts it on the counter in front of it, leans on the bar, and he's like, "Let me tell you the story about the time and he starts going through some like big adventure story. Her eyes get real big. This is the most childlike you've probably seen her.
Nice.
Aww.
I'm gonna get the other two kids to go listen to.
Yeah, once you get them calmed down and like to pay attention. Well,
We can't hear you.
they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm coming back. Can you hear me now?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, once you get them calmed down and paying attention, Durnan, oddly, good with kids, seems to be cutting out the more gory details of his adventure and is just telling the story about the time he fought some dragon or something.
Ooh, nice. Can you bring me a snack?
What do you want?
Why don't we take a 5-minute break to do?
Sure.
Oh yeah, that
Good
sounds
idea.
good. All right, cool.
Because it seems like a good pause.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Sorry, I have to use the.
I love them.